Let's give them something to talk about. I see the energy running out. I got a planet to run around. Okay. You ain't do nothing but run your mouth.
Oh, that was cool. So, make sure my hat's cooked straight. Welcome everybody. Tuesday morning. I thought we're oh, look at that. Look at it. Someone's on like right when we start.
Way ahead.
All right. That's good. Yeah, so we're starting right on time. And we got Mike Cassidy in, and Mike Cassidy's he's a CrossFitter first. I think were you CrossFitting before you joined the YMCA?
No.
Okay.
No, 30 years with the YMCA.
30 years.
So
wow.
not CrossFitter first.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, wow, 30 years with the YMCA.
Close.
Holy smokes.
This CrossFit was a thing back then.
This is the kind of research that the PRs All Day podcast does before they come on. We wait until the guest is here before we ask them about who they are and what they're doing. But it was cool because 30 years. Okay, good. So then I did choose the appropriate cover picture. Jamie, flash that back. Right. So this is if you can put that up. Can you put that up? Yeah, look at that. So that's like the tough guy. You look serious. You're in shape. You look like a CE. You look like a COO right there. That was the one because I debated because I go online. What I do is I look for pictures. So I do like a Google search of pictures. I go to LinkedIn. There's not much on you on LinkedIn. And then what I do is then I have to back out the screen, which is actually pretty easy. So I'm the guy that does all that stuff. And then I put the picture in the thing, and I was debating. I'm like, well, this guy's COO, and I'm not sure who's going to see this picture. And so I thought that this one might be. And so depending upon how this podcast goes today,
it depends what goes on the actual thumbnail.
Yeah. is what
the thumbnail.
This might be the thumbnail.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So so we got Mike here, and I've known Mike now for probably a year.
About a year.
Yeah, a year ago we met. But we've in and operated in the same city for many years. And I guess, what I'd like to start with is before we get into the YMCA stuff, because the YMCA stuff is what fascinates me is just, having a gym with hundreds of members, is to talk to someone that's in a gym and a community, because the YMCA is really a big family community with tens of thousands of members. That just blows my mind, with multiple locations. So I want to talk about that. And I think other affiliate owners would like to hear about that too. So I thought that would be fun to have you on and talk about that. We're kind of brothers of a sort in that we kind of grew up in CrossFit very close by. Mm-hmm. So Mike started at CrossFit Walnut Creek, which then later became Edge for Life. In Concord, when they lost their space, and sadly in downtown Walnut Creek, because they had a cool spot. I admired your spot because when we first started out, we started out in a garage too, but your guys' garage was twice as big as our garage. Because we started in Walnut Creek too originally.
Oh, did you really?
You call yours a garage? I thought it was a shed.
Yeah, it was a shed. So that's what we called it, was the shed, and it was 700 square feet, and it was right there where the Dorito Volkswagen is, Dorito Brothers Volkswagen. Yeah. We were right. Well,
back behind
them up on that little hill there, a little shed place. And you guys were in downtown Walnut Creek.
Yeah, their location was fantastic.
Yeah. And how many? Do you remember how big that was?
I don't remember how many members they had.
Yeah. How about square footage though?
Definitely over 100.
Yeah.
That square footage is probably 1,100, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe 1,000.
Yeah.
It's tough to measure.
And what was cool is they had big roll-up garage doors. Like the whole thing was kind of open.
You guys did your runs out and around like Locust Street and stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, awesome.
So
it's the worst 400 meters in Walnut Creek.
Oh yeah, because theirs was like so. Walnut Creek, for those that don't know, Walnut Creek's now kind of like the trendy town that people in San Francisco
downtown,
come to have dinner. It's got all the boutique stores. We've got a Nordstrom down there now. We got Saks Fifth Avenue. and then a what is it? Family Fitness or Fitness? What's the big fitness center that's moved in down there?
Lifetime.
Life Fitness.
Lifetime.
They
Lifetime
just opened that
Fitness.
up. Yeah.
Yeah,
kinda crazy.
70,000 square feet.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, have you been in it?
Yeah, it's
Really?
gorgeous.
It is.
How's the
isn't it?
rooftop pool?
It's stunning. And
Really?
yeah, you have to give it to the architects and the designers that designed that. Their finishes. I mean,
That's wild.
Something like that. So when that first was announced about 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, "Oh no, man! I don't need to worry
Another
about
one.
them as a competition." But it's not really competition to who we are and what we do.
no, it's a it's kind of a spa first.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
It's like a club sport.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's without the hotel.
Yeah, it's got the spa-ish. It's got the spa-ish types of activities.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yoga
Yeah.
at a high price.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you give us an idea what so do you have to pay an initiation fee?
I don't know. I don't know what the rate-
probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know at Club Sport, because I know I talked with somebody that I worked with at Club Sport, and that
Right.
was something that we're concerned about, or Bay Club
Was
now.
whether or not there was going to be an
Um,
initiation fee.
and Bay Club had like a $700 initiation fee
Okay.
for families and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I would imagine they would probably have a
And their idea is they want you in dining, they want you in drinking,
Yep.
they want you doing spa services. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you want to work out, we got places to work out.
but they don't have parking.
Well, what
the
they did, didn't
Broadway's
they do?
got that free thing. doesn't it?
Yeah,
Do
didn't
they
they?
have
Didn't
free
they?
access to the Macy's
Okay,
parking
so
lot?
that's what I wanted to ask you, right? So this is a gym that's in downtown Walnut Creek, which is kind of central to where we are. So I would say if they were miles away, they're probably 5 miles away from where we are right
Mhm.
here in this location. So ordinarily I'd be like, oh crap, I'm going to lose members to Lifetime Fitness because they've got.
Oh, now you.
Oh yeah, now I disconnected my mic. Because they've got stuff that childcare, for example.
Yeah.
Right. Professional childcare. We've got a room that says free range children with a very loose gate. It really does say
that's
free range
facts.
children. And
There's
we
a
tell
couch,
parents 'cause
TV.
where we are, Mike, is not zoned for childcare. That was the one reason why many of our members went over to the YMCA in Pleasant Hill
Got it.
because there's childcare there.
Mhm.
So Lifetime's got that. But my question, I guess, for you is, do CrossFit gyms, does Diablo need to worry about a Lifetime Fitness in terms of membership? Thieving membership? Are they just going to make CrossFit over there at their place, their version of CrossFit?
It's probably two different markets.
Yeah.
And when you look at the CrossFit model and methodology, we're very results biased.
Mhm.
Where I think Lifetime it's really the place to be seen,
Oh,
and that
is different, right?
That's a really good point.
we're a little different environment. It's almost like a country club type of setting, like you said, with
Yeah.
dining. They have alcohol at the pool,
Mm.
and things like that. I think there's they have the health component, but it's more of a lifestyle where we have the CrossFit lifestyle or
Right, where
the
ours is-
YMCA lifestyle are very, very different.
A good friend of mine's sister was the manager of an Olympic club in Los Gatos, California.
Oh, okay.
No,
Olympic
same
club, yeah.
kind of like a club sport kind of
Yeah.
thing, right? So they've got swimming, they got dining, they got everything there. And she told me that the fitness I was at a barbecue at his house, and I was talking to her about her business, and I go, she says, well, the fitness portion of it, is
It's like a fraction of the overall thing.
17% of
Oh,
their
wow.
revenues.
Wow.
17% of the revenues.
That's wild.
Like 60% of their revenues was catering, events, and dining, and alcohol. And then there was other stuff that.
So that's where
Call it a
that's where
health club.
yeah.
that's where their margin sits. It would be
Yeah.
interesting though to find out what the margin is on that 17% versus
Yeah.
Yeah.
essentially it's just space and equipment.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe a few trainers here and there.
I get it. Right. So you want a place where you can drop the kids off and then you can go do yoga.
Yep.
You want a place where the kids can get dropped off and then you can go to the pool. And my wife and I, when we were down in Austin, Texas, we belonged to the neighborhood golf club. And it was nice to go there and have dinner and then just say, yeah, put it on my tab. And then until you get that bill, because it's a variable bill and you get it and you have to pay that bill at the end of the month. We're like, oh, whoa, we drink a lot. It's funny. We'd have friends over and you have friends over and they'll go, well, let's go to the club because you kind of want to show off that you're members of a club and you go to the club.
You don't have to cook.
And and then you're just like, no. Do we have to pay anything? I know you don't pay anything here. I just, it goes on the tab. And then you get the bill. You're like, you want to hit
you
up,
do pay for something here.
right? Then you want to hit up your friends. Hey,
remember that time?
Remember when we went? Yeah, that actually did cost us something. And you go out, it was best too. You go out and you play golf, and that you didn't have to pay for the actual golf, but then you pay all the drinks on the course too. And you got your buddies out there, but that kind of stuff adds up.
It does.
But I could see it's interesting you say that about the different markets. There are people that in Walnut Creek, there's definitely a crowd. The Danville,
Lafayette.
It'll want to be seen.
It'll be a magnet for the folks that are looking for that kind of venue. When you look at my career, it's all about inflection points.
Uh-huh.
One of the biggest inflection points was in '96 when the Surgeon General's report came out, and it said 80% of the population is considered inactive, 20% is considered active. So the lifetimes are going to attract that 20%.
Yeah.
They're already active.
Yeah.
And so the market for CrossFits, YMCAs, that are very mission oriented is at 80. If we can capture that 80%, the 20% can have their spa like environments. They're always going to move. They're going to have a Peloton at home.
Yeah, you're right. They will.
They're going to exercise. They're going to be in shape.
That's right.
And the YMCA is nonprofit. Our mission is to, we want to be in the vulnerable, challenged communities too. We have financial assistance if somebody's unable to afford membership and things like that. So we have but very, very mission oriented.
Right. And
in since 2015, when I got exposed to CrossFit, we became very results oriented. That was there's another inflection point in my career.
Interesting. So it's interesting since we went through the pandemic. One of the things that happened to me personally is that I worry a lot less about competitors, and I'm more kind of two reasons. One, I feel like I got a huge vote of confidence from my members that stayed with us during the pandemic. Like, okay, I'm not going to lose my core people. They're going to stay with us. Yeah. Ride or die. Right. So we've got enough ride or die. And so my confidence level has gone up there. The other thing that kind of gives me like where I don't worry about it, and I'm happy to see a Lifetime go there. I want to see more fitness places go in. And I just posted a story or a post in my IG about this kid that came over about 4 assault bikes, and he's opening up a CrossFit.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
I spent a little time and I talked to him, and he was really nervous about it. I got a sense he was a little bit nervous about being here. It's Diablo, and he's a little overwhelmed. And I talked to him about like, this kid's a good coach. He's got a great, got a great mission. He's going to build a CrossFit business. He wants to affiliate. He's not affiliated yet, but he wants to affiliate. He didn't before because he was a former member of Jimmy Greninger's at CrossFit Overwatch, and he didn't want to affiliate too close to Jimmy. Yeah. And I said, okay, dude, affiliate. We need as many of these as we can. And the same thing with Lifetime. So I have that perspective now. We need more people to be fit because the less fit we are as a country overall, the less people that are doing fitness, the more likely we are to have things like vaccine mandates. More vulnerable. Right? And masks and being, shelter in place. But the healthier we are as a country, the less likely we are to have those things. And the fact is that, as a country, we're way more vulnerable than we, that's what crushed us during the pandemic. It wasn't necessarily the strength of the virus. It certainly was serious and very strong, but the vulnerability of the population. When you got,
the dry kindling.
Yeah.
It was, chronic disease is, I would love to make it history.
Yeah.
It's one of those, it's driven me crazy. The inactivity in the 90s, obviously the 80-20, and then the chronic disease as it climbed. And what's depressing is I helped a kid write how seniors in college have to write like a capstone project.
Yeah.
So we had this kid all summer. I was like, here's your capstone project. I said, you take chronic disease and obesity and diabetes and you graph them. Start in 1980. So he graphed them. And then I said, now start, how many fitness centers opened? How many people became certified fit personal trainers? And all they run parallel.
Wow.
If you took it on a graph,
That's
as many
fascinating,
gyms
right?
that opened, we got obese, you know, and
Interesting.
yeah.
No, so now if you were a correlation believer, you're like, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Look,
Causation, correlation, it doesn't matter. They just run parallel, which
Right.
is interesting. Like, why did all these? I'm for all, you know, I have the same view on competition. I love the tension
Yeah.
Yeah.
it gives us.
Right.
Gives me a little tension and leverage with the
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Hey, Lifetime Fitness is moving in. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
It's time to step it up.
Yeah, I want to
Right. Yeah.
talk about that in a second too. Yeah.
so it was, you know, when you look at that, how could all these gyms be opening, all these fitness movements be happening, but yet obesity and chronic disease continue to
Still
climb
climbs, yeah.
almost at a parallel rate?
40 at the large body athlete seminar that we went to, she said 42%, you
Mhm.
know, the country now is considered obese,
Mhm.
and it's still climbing. And of course, obesity leads to diabetes. And, you know, you turn on the TV, if you turn on the TV, watch mainstream TV in any form, like in the between everything is the ads for mostly diabetes drugs.
Whether it's a medication or a fast food or some kind of,
then the opposite
Well,
side.
I mean,
right. Yeah.
it's all going in the same direction.
Right, both ends of
right?
the scale, though.
Yeah.
Right, one's all the drugs that'll help you
Yeah.
continue to stay obese
And
and
then
control
ones
your
that's gonna continue
AC1,
to-
and one that's going to continue to make you
Yeah.
obese.
Ozempic.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and then Ozempic
Yeah.
too. Now.
My dad was a pharmacist. He died in 96, but he was fighting at the time with a group of pharmacists against television ads, drugs, advertising on television.
I mean, it's illegal in most countries, right?
It was here until like 90.
Yeah,
Is that
Yeah, I
really?
think it was
Is that right?
96. Is when,
96,
It was, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It
Yeah.
wasn't until 96 that they opened it
And
up.
now it's like 98% of advertising.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's outrageous. It's
I'm,
absurd.
I'm hearing all these statistics. Is that bothers me? Is the fact that Warren Buffett owns a ton of Coca-Cola stock
Yeah,
and a ton of DaVita, the dialysis center stock.
I know.
Can you say conflict of interest?
Well, not really conflict of interest. One's feeding the other.
And
Well,
it's,
yeah. Yeah.
And it, you know, the conspiracy theorist, the tinfoil hat, and let me
Yeah.
get mine out of the drawer right now. We'll say that those two are operating kind of almost in concert, with each
together.
other. I don't think that's the case. I'm not that
No.
big of a conspiracy theorist, but I do. Obviously, we being in the fitness business kind of recognize the inherent conflict of that.
Right.
And
There's
bo-
one right between us. You know,
and who's that?
DaVita.
Oh, really?
Really?
It's a really nice space. It'd be amazing if we did
Oh,
able
interesting.
to get it to close.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's end chronic disease in this area. And
Yeah, I would like to
Start locally and then take it globally.
You know,
yeah.
but you as all of these food companies, you know, continue to sell their product, especially the beverage companies, and people continue to consume calorie dense foods with lower nutritional content, it's going to contribute to that problem, especially in a high stress world where cortisol levels are high, and it becomes, as you know, as they said this weekend in the large body athlete thing, like that's the source of comfort is these foods.
Yeah.
High sugar, high salt, high fat content. And then on the other side of it, then you have the pharmaceutical companies, I think, who have genuinely, you know, probably in their bylaws or in their missions, they have good statement. Like, look, they want to help people. And, you know, so what's one way we can help? Well, we got to get their AC count down, because we know when we get AC down that, you know, they're going to live a little longer, right? They're going to be a little more comfortable. They're not going to lose a limb to diabetes. Right. So they have good intent, but it's almost like you can't stop it. Like water's flowing into both locations, and you have to stop one before you can stop the other.
Yeah.
And it's a really fascinating position in our country, but there are some key pieces of legislation that influenced it. On the drug side, the key piece of legislation was allowing advertising in drugs.
Yeah.
So I know what drives your dad. I know it drove your dad crazy. Is people coming and going, hey, you know, can I get some of that Ozempic?
Yeah,
You know?
that's
Or
what he
let me-
feared. He's like,
Yeah.
this is crazy.
Yeah, people asking for drugs.
Yeah.
Going in, talk to your doctor.
Talk
to your
doctor.
doctor. Ask
Yep.
your doctor about.
Yeah. And if your insurance doesn't cover it, call Eli Lilly. We can help you.
Isn't that wild? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, they'll help you.
Yeah.
You're
You're gonna give me a coupon for
we
crazy.
we would love to place all of the blame for the opioid epidemic on the on the Sacklers and the companies of the pill. Most certainly they contributed a great deal. There's no question, especially when I watched that documentary and what happened in Portsmouth, Ohio. And the Sackler family, you watch that Netflix special Painkiller. It's really sad, and you can understand how money influences and drives these companies. They kind of become disconnected from the human side of it, and then it's all about profits. However, when you start advertising people and driving them to ask for the medication or seeing medication, they'll put pressure on their doctor, and their doctors, just like us, someone comes in here and goes, hey, can we get we need clean towels in here, we need clean towels. Oh Christ, I'm gonna get a towel service. Okay, so it's like the doctors too. They want to provide they want to provide something that their patient's asking for, and that might be the solution. So okay, I can satisfy them with the painkiller that they want. It relieves their pain. Am I doing the right thing? Well, I got 100 more patients lined up that I got to take care of.
right.
So you can see how this cycle happens.
It's what they say. What medicine 1.0 is. You and your doctor had a relationship with you, and right now we're in medicine 2.0, which is, I forget who said it. The healthcare system's like Jiffy Lube.
Yeah,
it's like 20 patients in a day.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just a grind. I go to my doctor. He sits in front of a computer screen the whole time. I'm like,
like what, 10 minutes with them a day, or 10 minutes, once or twice a
so
year.
That's where
it's a volume business.
Yeah. And so I think it's going to shift. I think something's going to have to break. And it might be Amy and her group, but something's going to break where it's like, okay, we're going to go into medical or healthcare 3.0, or truly healthcare. There's some sort of connection and partnership to really moving well. And that's, I'm hoping I see it. But I think I think it's on the horizon, because people are starting to, as education and awareness grows, that's where the opportunities for CrossFit and YMCA's lies. That should be our North Star.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this doctor sees a patient. My doctor sees me once, maybe twice a year. That's it.
Right. Same here.
And I drive him crazy. Because I'm like, Greg, look up, look up at me.
Talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. Stop typing. I'm not going to take the statin that you're about to prescribe based on my blood work. I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
I'll eat Irish oats for a month and we'll be fine. I'll get it tested again.
Dude, you and I are.
Yeah. So I drive.
we are kindred spirits,
right.
man.
But so he sees me once or twice a year. That's typical patient, maybe 4. But we see our members on a good 156 times a year.
Yeah.
So we have a real opportunity here to shift health. My challenge, 56,000 members. February 2020, we had 56,000 people. I would argue one of my executives thinks it's 60, but I'll say 56. 56,000 people aged 6 months to 101. We had a 101-year-old at Albany. And we see them a lot. But my challenge is, how do I take the methodology that we know works, and how do I scale that?
Yeah.
It's an entirely different ball game at that volume.
Yeah.
And so what we did was we extracted all of the elements that I could, and I created entirely new environments of weightlifting platforms. We got coaches in our YMCAs that weren't CrossFit. We had them get their L1s. So imagine if you had a global gym with thousands of members and you had all L1s on the floor.
It's awesome.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be? It would just be stunning to have that kind of active coaching.
Yeah.
James Fitzgerald actually helped us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he helped us scale, because his is an individual program too.
Yeah, OPT.
OPT. Yeah.
Optimum performance training. OPEX.
And I missed him by one, months. So he moved to Scottsdale in 2012, right as I moved out to come back here to the Bay Area. I was like, we would have found each other. I know we ended up finding each other later, but he worked at a Y in Calgary, so he understands like, okay, so how do we scale this thing? And so he helped me extract a lot of things out of the methodology to say, okay, we got 56,000 people. How do I make my Zumba instructor understand that we have to become results biased? How do I make my yoga instructors understand that we have to become results biased for every single member? And we're getting there, but it's, the pandemic, it was.
Yeah. Set everybody back.
Yeah. You think you have like Mike Tyson said, you think you have a plan to get punched in the face. It was a real, it really knocked us to our knees.
The thing that the pandemic for a lot of people though, and I guess if there's something to be grateful for with the pandemic, and there are a few things, and it's okay to be grateful for some things that came out of the pandemic. One of them is a renewed sense of urgency in the people that are coming here and the people that wanted to come here. So we had people that didn't do anything for the 2 or 3 years during the pandemic, and they came in and they walked in and we saw them. Yeah. And you walked in, whoa, I noticed the weight gain. I noticed the change. And, you get a period of time, 2 to 3 years where you're indoors, you're forced to be indoors. You can't, all they do is work, and they usually work from a computer. And at the end of the day, they couldn't go anywhere. And they got it, right? Because certainly even the mainstream media news said that, if you're more at risk if you're obese or you had chronic disease, or you're certainly way more at risk of death or serious illness or hospitalization if you are not well. And that to me that's a positive outcome, because that sense of urgency is getting, I feel like, because after we're probably at the largest membership we've had in our history. And thank you. And I think it's a direct result of that sense of urgency within the community that knows us and knows Diablo CrossFit. And I'm hopeful too. I'm like you too. I'm an optimist, and that's why you're, as long as you are in the same career, I think is that you have an optimistic viewpoint, is that things are going to change. I love what you said about the doctors, like that only sees you twice a year, and he's not even looking, he's looking at the screen. He wants a quick solution. That's the same thing that's happening with surgeries as well.
Yeah.
Yep. And someone's good. They automate these processes for hip replacement, for knee replacement. And so then they want to get you, as soon as they can get you approved, boom, they want to get you in, because they know that they're going to have 100% effectiveness in making this thing work. And whether or not it's the right thing for you at the time is a different story. That was an example of that, where it was a concern, was the bariatric surgery. We talked about that, in the large body athlete seminar. She said that there are a number of obese people that they go and they see the doctor, and they immediately want to direct them into bariatric surgery.
Yeah. That's the first step.
Yeah.
If they're even going to look at, she said that there's a lot of times where people will go in to see their doctor, and the doctor's just like, I'm not going to see you.
Yeah. That was the other thing.
It's just the whole stigma of just put the fork down or just go for a walk.
Right.
That was so disheartening when I heard that.
It was a lack of understanding of what the root causes are for obesity. It was just,
which is a lot of different root causes.
Yes, a lot of different roots. So, emotional trauma, physical trauma, how they were raised, where they were raised, where they live, all of those things, environmental stuff. But going back to that, the bariatric surgery, they have, and I remember being at that a company presentation that Greg Glassman brought us to as part of the MDL1 and the Derelict Doctor Society. We went to this company in San Francisco that was doing diet management and nutrition management with diabetic patients remotely.
Yes. What's the name of them?
I want to say Veritas,
something like that. Yeah. God, it's on my dry erase board.
Right. So, but
he was a triathlete that got diabetes, type 2 diabetes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of the carbohydrate toxicity, right?
Probably.
We were probably both there, and we never met each other. That's
terrible.
terrible.
Small world.
Dude, there was like 20 people. In my defense, there was like 20 people.
I wasn't at that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But anyway, there was one of our crew was a doctor, and he said, we have a newly built bariatric facility in his hospital. And he said, the thing that concerns me is because they need bariatric surgeries to essentially pay for it.
Yeah.
And so they want to get as many in it. And really, if anyone online has been in for surgery, and as you get wheeled into that area, you look up, there's a board in the room of all the surgical rooms, and then
when we went to
Kaiser,
yeah,
and we went and we saw the surgery board and all the surgical rooms, and dude, they turn them over, like they have cleaning crews that come in and turn them over.
It's
and
crazy.
It's like a pit
machine.
crew.
Yeah.
It's
literally a pit crew.
As soon as that surgery's done, boom, that
you got like 5 or 6 people in there mopping up, moving, changing stuff, moving garbages,
boom, getting it out, boom. So the next one could go in, because you want to keep those surgical rooms going all day long, from literally from like 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. at night. Boom, boom, boom. And they have multiple surgery rooms. And those things are major revenue generators.
Right.
And so the more they can automate those procedures, like the bariatric surgery, like the knee surgeries, or the appendicitis and those things, just come in with robots and do it, the lower risk they have, at the same time, the higher revenue they have. So now you've taken out is this right for you? Like looking you in the eye and going,
getting to know you as a person, what you're capable of.
Hey, what would you like to get back to doing?
You did change your blood work in the last 3 months. You're right. You don't need a statin. That relationship is gone.
Yeah.
I always wonder if there's tension between because Kaiser also has the insurance.
Yes, that's right. Separate unit. Yep.
And then there's the
hospital unit.
Yeah. So it's like, it's like almost like a doom loop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do they fight each other?
Oh yeah.
Like, no, you're not doing those 60 surgeries. Like, I just wonder if there's any internal, like, I wonder if there's any internal
dialogue,
or the insurance company says, yeah, go make all the money.
Yeah. Do you want to be, don't you want to be like the fly on the wall for the cocktail party they're having? Right. Where those two guys are getting together, the guy and the woman, or whoever it is that's getting together and having that conversation. Oh, I wonder what those conversations are like.
But owning both.
Yes.
It just seems strange to me. It
right.
Just seems like,
I know. It's fascinating. It's again, maybe some of those inherent conflicts that are there. And that stuff's got to change.
Yeah.
The other one, going all the way back on, we've gotten way off time. We put a list of things
outline.
We want to talk
it
about.
Doesn't mean it stays.
It's suggestions for when Craig gets a mind block. But going back to that, like kind of the big decisions in our country that changed things. One was the pharmaceutical advertising, right? That was a major impact, and it's really gross. I'll be honest with you. Like, and I don't have any problem saying this podcast will probably get shadow banned on, but it really is gross. The pharmaceutical ads. The next thing is the diet recommendations that our government provides.
Mm-hmm. Right. Do the opposite.
Bought and paid for.
Yep.
I mean,
it really feels bought and paid for.
Follow the money. Have you read Gary Taub's book on sugar?
Yes.
The Sugar Papers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as bad as Monsanto. It's as bad as the Flint water.
It's like the writing is on the wall.
Water. It's horrible. And they were, and then tobacco. Like we when you look at all of them, like the tobacco company said, hey, we lost the tobacco battle. Let's go buy food.
Yeah. That's the same tactics that they're using.
Absolutely. It models, they model each other. It's amazing the amount of sugar money that's out there.
And these are it is capitalism. My daughter right now would have, she'd start, talking to me about the dangers of capitalism, which just that kind of shit just drives me crazy. But it is inherently part of capitalism, and is something where that's where we've got to call on our government to represent us, not the interests of the ones that are throwing the money.
Corporations.
And it becomes really difficult, because what happens is these companies, fund election campaigns, then they fund, and the food companies are, that's a nefarious group of people, because what they figured out was the research stuff. So then they go to colleges and universities and make these huge make these huge donations to these universities to keep them operating and build tenures, so these professors make lots of money, and then encourage them to write papers. Those papers, university papers, hey, we have something out of Tufts University. The paper that was written out of Tufts University giving diet recommendations, and it actually showed like literally
Snickers bars,
and Fruit Loops and everything ahead of
Lucky Charms is better than
some of meat
eggs.
And vegetables. Oh my God. And you're like, okay, could you be more blatant about this crap?
Yeah. I thought that was kind of a joke, like
but
a
these,
real joke. Like
I did too. I thought it was a farce, but it was real.
But these people are very, very smart. I worked in the hedge fund investment management industry for years, and they are brilliant people, the smartest people, and they think bigger than we do in a lot of cases. They don't think, let's just we'll go out and we'll talk to doctors, we'll motivate them, and then we'll talk to someone at lower levels of government and kind of see if we can't get some of our healthy foods positioned better. So no, they think, hey, how do we change legislation overall in the United States that dictates what everybody eats? Well, how are those decisions made? Well, they use research. Oh, okay, let's go bigger than that. Then let's start with the research way back here. It's going to take a few years, guys.
Yeah. Well, we see with health, we see the complex individual in front of us. We see that long distance horizon.
Yeah.
I'm going to quote Coach Glassman with it.
Yes.
That long distance horizon, we see that with the complex individual in front of us. They see it with society.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how can we move this?
Bigger
How can we
picture.
move this needle?
I think you're right.
What's it going to cost? And that investment to them is next to nothing.
We need to get this. We need to get
It's why the broken science thing is so entertaining to me, because it's like academic science is not industrial science. If they took the studies that they use in academia to try and get a rocket into space, it would never leave the ground. Oh, but it was peer reviewed via consensus.
Why didn't your drug, Stephen? Why didn't your drug get approved by the FDA? Well, I don't have any contacts over there. I don't know anybody. And those guys, they wouldn't listen to me. They wouldn't return my calls. Okay. All right. Well, next year, let's hire our CEO as the former director of the CDC to come. and literally,
I know
they trade like they're
all on board.
They go from the head of the NIH, head of the CDC. They go
Pfizer,
right back into pharma. Yeah.
It's a little bit of
it's like a whole hiring pool.
Yeah. I get it, right? But that's got to stop. Yeah. That stuff's got to stop. Yeah. And that's where
I think there's gonna be a shift. There'll be Medicare, and there's people like Dr. Amy, who you had on. I mean, there's an edge to her.
Yes.
That I like. Dr. McCoy, my former fellow CrossFit member. There's an edge to them that I think I hope it breaks the dam, because we have the solutions in our centers.
Yes, we do. That's one of the things, and why I'm really glad to meet you. And I'll be honest with you, when we've met probably before, but when we really first got to talk to each other at the event out at the ranch.
Yeah.
Broken Science.
Yeah, I remember driving back going, man, he's a really nice guy. I think I even texted Jamie, we need to talk to him. We need to get together, because and this is something that I think other CrossFit affiliates need to know and need to really work on. Your competition is not your fellow affiliate or fellow gym owner. Those people are on your side. We need to get everybody in. Don't worry. There's plenty of people that can come and buy a membership from your gym. Those are your allies. And those are the people that have got to come together to help influence the change, right? That gets, if we're excited, we're pumped, and our members excited and pumped about making change, then the Amy West people, and others that have influence, they'll start to make change at their level, then the next level, then the next level. And finally institute change, but we've got to come together to
imagine if organizations like Wild Health were affordable and accessible to everyone. Yeah. If we could, it's all about scale.
Yeah.
If we could scale some of these elements and things.
If we get 30 million CrossFitters, well, that's a good insurance company.
You're darn right it is.
They could have 30 million.
That shifts a lot of things in the health space.
Yeah.
It shifts the market for just buying groceries.
Yeah.
When you get that much awareness, nutrition remains at the bottom of our pyramid, and that's where it's the foundation of it all. I am mad I didn't attend the large body athletes, the entire thing. I know
you came he came at the end. I invited him at the end because he and Savon have been good friends for many years.
Yeah. And so I was like,
and then he stood there. He's like, oh, I wish I had, but you caught a lot of the good stuff.
I did, because there's how we frame it, the 42% of the population that we aren't attracting. And at the Y, I've got a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me that.
I've got a lot of them, and
Mike
I
said
want to move them out of the water.
Yeah.
I visited. I was up in Washington visiting a family back in August, and I dropped into the Y because my father-in-law trains there, and it's like, man, this is
different environment.
There's so much we can help.
But I
we
love
can do
that
here.
you're doing God's work over there, man.
Yeah,
but go back to that because you said that to me. I got to get them out of the water. I didn't really understood what that meant at first.
We've got this. We do water exercise, which is
the
fantastic.
aerobic,
water exercise
aerobics.
and
It is
aerobics,
fantastic.
water aerobics. And so which is fantastic because it obviously takes the gravity off the joints and things like that. I can never get them to leave the water.
Yeah.
What a number of them did, and you're not going to believe with what? Pickleball.
Oh,
I can believe that.
They left.
Man. All right,
I can believe it.
They left the water for not for like.
They left a safe place for
right.
not a
Hey,
safe
try
place.
this CrossFit oriented longevity class. Not chair exercise.
Where there's a coach watching you, giving you feedback and scaling
they came to
adjustments.
Pickleball.
Shit.
all right. Right now. So, okay, officially today on this podcast, let's mark the time 10:15 a.m. I've got to stop making fun of pickleball. Because like if it's getting more people moving, and I do, admittedly, because there's a pickleball court over there in off Rod Gear.
Yeah,
that's near where I live. So I might walk my dogs by it every day, and I hear the
click, click, click,
click, click. And I actually, you know what I think is those poor people that live close to that. It's like, oh, good Lord, like I'd be going insane by now. I'd be that old man out there. I'd be Clint Eastwood in what's that movie?
Get off my yard.
Yeah.
Off my lawn.
Yeah.
Gran Torino.
I'd be out there, just pointing my finger at him. But when I walk my dogs right by the courts and I look and I'm like, you know what? This is awesome. These guys are all out here moving and they're all like, 50 plus. And there's some, very full folks that I could tell because they've got like 8 different knee sleeves and everything else that I wear in the gym. But it is awesome.
It is.
That's cool. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
But and
it's shocking. It's intergenerational. So I've been with the Y for a very long time, almost 30 years. And we've tried to do all these intergenerational things. How do we get teenagers with seniors and nothing really ever stuck.
Yeah.
We'd have them come read during the little child care and nothing really stuck. And then all of a sudden the kids that are coming out of College Park at 3:30, if there's seniors playing, the seniors are like, hey, will you fill in for me? I'm tired. So we get these teens and seniors playing pickleball.
That is awesome.
And it's like this intergenerational activity and it's organic.
That is awesome.
Which is just stunning.
Yeah, that's the other part.
That's
organic,
really cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
And they say it's
and their kids are respectful. It's
a major
fun
growth
game.
It's a major growth trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we might.
I didn't realize that. That's a really cool concept.
All right, so
idea.
So let me ask you a question. Can we do pickleball on these rubber mats? Are they not?
I think you might be able to. I don't know. We'd have to see.
We might have to do it like in a pickleball tournament here because we got big enough room out there. That'd be kind of fun to do. Just
throw some tape lines out.
It is addicting.
That's what I've heard.
It is addicting.
I'm afraid actually to introduce Yvonne to it. My wife.
My daughter's.
She might go down the.
She was a great racquetball player, and she's super competitive.
She'll be addicted.
Yeah,
my daughter was a tennis player at Northgate, and she's at the University of Utah.
Yeah,
she plays twice a day.
Does she?
Oh yeah,
twice a day.
Oh yeah, she's like, Dad, it is crack. Like she is so addicted.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
All right, I love pickleball.
Yeah. Well, we've got 4 courts. We'll have you over.
Yeah.
We'd have a tournament.
Diablo versus
have a tournament over there.
Yeah, exactly. Have Diablo versus the YMCA type.
Yeah. My, we get our ass kicked.
We would.
That'd be great.
No, Yvonne can't play. Former racquetball player.
Let me tell you what, she would be the first one to get banned from.
Right. I do have to tell you. Obviously the CrossFit Games was a struggle watching the Masters.
Yeah.
But I was trying to point out your wife and
Yeah.
and then when I ran into her on Saturday, I was so embarrassed. I was like, my wife goes to jazz for her autograph. I was like, I almost did.
I almost did.
Nice. She's in lane 5.
Yeah.
It was so awful trying to watch him.
Trying to see it. Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, so she's a hero in our household.
Well, see,
That's
okay,
awesome.
now that's the kind of stuff, right? So when you look at, one YMCA, that's cool, right? So you guys will have a diversity of types of classes that you offer, and that's what's really cool. How Do you have CrossFit as one of the offerings in your facility? I know you did it here in Pleasant Hill, and you actually affiliated as well.
Yeah, we're affiliated in Pleasant Hill. I probably wouldn't do it anywhere else. I tried to
Can't
grab.
you get a nonprofit affiliate?
No, they don't have that.
I think that's just for schools.
And I don't. Yeah, and I wouldn't want to.
Oh, you're a noble guy.
Yeah, no, I think we want to pay our fair share. It's $3,000 a year.
Right.
We're a nonprofit, so there's no shareholders gaining any revenue. We just can't lose money.
Yeah.
Right.
But what we grabbed was the ethos, and I was able to put that into 4 other branches.
Yeah.
Platforms, weightlifting, and as I said,
functional movement stuff.
Yeah,
Open rig.
trying to get more. I need more CrossFit level 1 people in all 5 branches. I need that awareness, the ability to active coach. God, I could follow Nicole Carroll around all day.
Yeah.
The standard. I'm still trying to define what the standard is.
Right.
Because I'm going to chase it for the rest of my life now because she said the standards is the standard.
Standard's the standard.
But she didn't define the standard. So it's like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
So I think having that and that awareness is going to elevate it. It's going to help us take it to scale and take this impact to scale and bring these results to these communities. I sat on the steps of Oakland. We were shuttered. I think it was like day 20 of the 15-day. We knew we were going to be down
2 weeks.
Yeah, we knew we were going to be down a long time. My boss he's got an amazing awareness. I thought he had a crystal ball, and he's like, we're going to be down. And I was standing on the steps, and it was one of those. Everybody's, of course, we're watching the John Hopkins CDC, and one of the reports said that 78.7% of the hospitalizations and deaths had 1 or more chronic diseases.
Yeah.
And I just sat on the downtown Oakland. It was a ghost town, like a ghost town.
Yeah.
Like I had parking to myself. It was just an absolute ghost town. And I just sat down on the steps and watched like a deer walk by in the middle of downtown Oakland. And I thought, I was devastated. I was like, we didn't get to enough people. I had the formula. We were growing at an exponential rate. We had 30,000 units. We count units.
Yeah.
So a unit could be a family of 4, an adult.
Wow.
And so, which is almost 56,000 people. And I'm like,
That's crazy.
I didn't get to enough of them.
Yeah.
Because this disease it wasn't a disease. It wasn't a cold disease. It was a chronic disease.
Is that an ethos within YMCA that, you guys are interested in health and improving quality of life for your members?
We are.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure.
You when you say we, you mean
YMCA of the East Bay.
Your group.
Bay,
Yeah.
Our mission statement is empower youth, advance health, and strengthen community.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's our mission statement.
Absolutely love that.
And so that advanced health we take extremely seriously. And it's not, we don't apologize for it. And like I told you, I felt like in the 90s, prior to the 1990s, the YMCA was the largest fitness certifying body in the world.
Oh, yeah. This was, you told me this at dinner. People
That's
need to hear this.
crazy.
This is really crazy.
So we had,
listen to this, man.
so I started my first Y job, weight room attendant.
Wow.
Well, this little like 800 square foot Y. Thank you, Bonnie. She took a chance. Every boss has taken a chance on me. I don't know. I probably should have been fired 1,000 times over 30 years, but, and I thought I died and gone to heaven. A weight room attendant.
Yeah.
I mean, you could eat off of that place. I just kept it so clean, and I just thought it was the greatest thing. And I took my fitness. It was called Fitness Leaders 1, which is like our L1.
Yeah.
It was an 8-hour day and with a test. And then I took my Fitness Leaders 2, which was I think another 8-hour day with a test and a lot of anatomy and physiology. Everybody was afraid of the Fitness Leaders 2, but I was taking anatomy and phys in college, so I was like, oh, this is a dream. And then there was Fitness Specialist, which was the 7 fitness tests: body composition, max VO2, sit and reach, flexibility. Oh my God, what else did we do? Blood pressure, height, weight. So it was a fitness test. It was evaluation. That was a 5-day. You're gonna love this, in Santa Cruz.
Really? No way.
Yep. From the 80s through 97. It was fitness specialist school was in Santa Cruz, California, at
That's wild.
That's
Happy
why-
Valley Campground.
Are you serious?
Yep.
What is it with Santa Cruz?
I have no idea.
What, did Glassman know of that or
I
attend
have
that?
I haven't. No,
We gotta
I
ask
don't
him
think
I mean,
that.
he was
I'm
at
gonna
a
ask
Gold's
Greg.
gym, so maybe
Yeah.
if he was
Yeah.
in the YMCA. Really,
all I know is we drank. I then became. I went through that and became faculty for that. So I was there in
Yeah.
Santa Cruz for the week of training.
Oh wow.
But yeah, imagine that in Santa Cruz. It was just amazing to me when Greg started CrossFit there. When I started to hear the story of it, I'm like, you have to be kidding me. We were there. And then in the 90s, the late 90s, we started to, as almost as a national movement, I don't know how to describe it, like apologize for the fitness side of our business or the health side.
It's interesting.
And we lost it. Leadership changes at the national office and things like that, and the certification stuff just kind of went by the wayside. We created partnerships with ACE and things like that, and it just it just kind of faded away. But we were when I was young, we were the body of fitness.
It's hard to have that kind. Like you can look back and go, God, I wish we had the foresight. Boy, let me tell you what. If you guys had stayed on the certification,
course,
you would have owned it.
I know,
absolutely owned it. And then you guys would have made up a fake study about CrossFit and called it interest. So I spent time in YMCA as a kid because that was one of the few places where you could go and just do barbell weightlifting.
Same.
And it was always it just reminded me of say like Rocky Balboa going into the boxing gym. It was that kind of atmosphere, and it always felt safe and just kind of rugged and tough. And I've always appreciated that about the Y. And it's more than that, it's accessible and affordable especially for lower income populations as well. So you have a place that can actually get these. And when when you guys opened up the CrossFit here, and then a few of our members left because you have licensed childcare, and to me it was like, okay, cool, right on, go. You should. That's what, because my wife and I went to, when we chose gyms early on, it was the ones that had childcare. And so I totally get that. What would you say to now? I feel like, though, again, as a result of the pandemic and as a result of my own change in thinking, we're all in this together, and I want as many CrossFit affiliates to open up in and around me and in this area as possible, because we have so much work to do. And that's how we are going to, like you said, you're an optimist. I want to influence legislation. I want to influence these changes within our government. And the only way we're going to do that is start to make people independent, independently healthy, not independently wealthy, independently healthy.
Yep.
And what would you suggest for, say, CrossFit affiliate owners in other cities and that have YMCAs there? Is that something where, like, you need level ones? I'll talk to you about that a little bit, about how maybe we can help drive some of these L1s into your gym to coach their part-time. But is there anything that you would, give recommendation to local affiliate owners with respect to their YMCAs and what they can do? Or is there any opportunities for them to help or to partnership in any way?
I would hope. There are 18 YMCAs that have affiliates in them.
Yeah, out of 18 individual YMCAs.
Yes.
How many of
that's not a lot.
No, out of over 1,000 YMCAs. So,
okay.
Which is why Greg tackled me. I told you about, he tackled me at the soda thing. I thought Jimmy Letchford was going to shoot me. Because he tackled me. He said, I was a Y kid. Why aren't we in more YMCAs? He was shaking me, and I said, I don't know, you're in mine. I got that one covered.
Right.
So I think part of it's education. I think there's an edginess to CrossFit that I appreciate. But I've always been kind of the misfit, as a leader. Nicole describes me so well when she describes herself. I've been the reluctant executive. I just wanted to make sure my ladder was on the right wall, not whether I climbed it or not. But I found I had more influence.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah,
it's a great
I found
analogy.
I had more influence and impact the further I went up. Yeah. I could have stayed a floor coach for the rest of my life. I'll probably do it when I retire. because I think that's where I get energized. So why aren't there more? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's an education piece. I think
Right.
when Amy was talking, I didn't mean to be punchy the other night when I asked her, Savant loved my question when I asked her again. Hey, what do you think of the medical society? She goes, well, I created it. And I said, so what do you think of the medical society? And, so Savant loved it. Savant loved that.
Yes.
Because I think that is an element that could probably bridge the two.
Yes.
We've never brought each other together. Maybe even if we got the 18 together at something, but I don't leave town much.
I think it starts here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And then we start to slowly get the word out. What people don't know is Mike knows and is friendly with Greg Glassman. He's good friends with Savon. You've got an outlet through through media within CrossFit to start to have an influence. YMCA's, I think, more so than CrossFit's have. Well, clearly, I think you have probably more members in the United States than CrossFit does, but you have a more representative percentage of the population.
Yeah. A bigger range of fitness levels.
Well, you would have answered this question way better than I did, because Athena asked me and Savon said, God, Savon came over and
she
said,
put you on blast a few times.
She goes, if they let you up one more time, like here they asked, I offer up my gym to be the host for this thing, and I just got hammered with
she made some really good points though.
Handicap parking that was blocked, to the t-shirt sizes in my lobby, that
was an eye opener for me.
We'll talk about that in a second. By the way, let's come back to that, because I did want to put that out there to our community. Anybody that's listening regarding t-shirt sizes, even my wife Yvonne, who does the t-shirt bar, she was like, "What? She didn't
even know that was a thing."
But side note is that Athena asked, she goes, Craig, she goes, how many large body athletes do you have in your gym? And I've tried to thought, and want to be careful about who I categorize as large body athlete. I said, we probably have about 4 or 5 athletes. And then she goes, okay, good. She goes, now, how many members do you have? And instantly I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. I know where she's going with this, right? Well, yeah, but she waited for me to answer. It wasn't like she didn't allow anybody else to draw the same conclusion, which they already had. No, I had to state that I have. I go, well, like 400 and something members. And she goes, well, so now 42% of the country is obese. Do you think that represents your, populations you're getting? I'm like, oh, okay, I go. She goes, you got the people in here that are already, that know how to take care of themselves or fit. And she goes, and the opportunity lies. And she was presenting more as an opportunity. And it's right. And I think the YMCA is probably more representative of the general population, which means you've got more chance to even have more.
We definitely have the opportunity with who's coming.
Yeah.
Who's
coming in the door.
Yeah. I still want to attract. Yeah. I still want to attract more.
I get it.
But you're right. With who's coming, I have an opportunity. But I have the solution to the world's most vexing problem. However, I got to get them to participate too.
Yeah.
There's that. Pre-contemplation, contemplation. The process of change. If they get into a certain mode, I've got them.
Yeah.
We can hook them.
Yeah.
Prior to the pandemic, we had a longevity class for older folk, waitlisted.
Oh, really?
Oh, yep. Yeah. Our little CrossFit space was only 800 square feet at the time. There'd be a line out the door.
Wow.
So it was just that was pretty amazing. We just had to buy. We just bought a ton of PVC pipe. Here you go.
I really liked what Athena and Kim said too, because it all looks so daunting when you think about curing chronic disease, and then you look at the kind of the causes, like those root causes
like
of
15 different roots.
We kept going through this exercise, Mike, where we were putting up at the top of the tree is the calories in, calories out, and the more calories in than calories out.
The fruit on the tree.
Yeah, that's the actual cause of obesity, right? She goes, we all admit it. We know it's more calories going in than coming out. She goes, but now let's go down to the roots and why these things are happening. And she went into long explanations: the emotional trauma, the location, the family history, the stigma, the friends and family influence. Like they'd start to get healthy, and then their friends and family talk them out of it, and create, scorn them for it. But all of those things, and all I'm doing is she's going to the risk. I'm like, what's the purpose of this exercise? because all I'm doing is getting frustrated. Like there's no way any of our coaches out here have the capacity nor the patience to be able to deal with any of those root causes. And she said, no, you're not going to deal with the root causes. Like you just got to know that they're there.
Yeah.
And goes way below just telling them, hey, you need to try intermittent fasting.
Right.
You need to try the paleo diet. You need to get more sleep.
Yeah.
There's more she goes, just have them come back tomorrow. Like one day at a time.
What a beautiful statement.
Yes. Have a good, they need to come in, feel unafraid because, they're afraid. They're nervous.
Stack some wins.
Yes. And stack some wins and then have them come back the next day. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that.
Right.
Because then what's going to happen is all the other stuff will start to take care of itself. And it will, especially in our community.
Yep.
Right.
Kim knocked me over when she said a discussion around nutrition and a discussion around weight loss are two entirely different conversations.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Even as an industry, we've tried to mash those two together forever.
Yeah.
This way to weight loss, Weight Watchers this, and nutrition this, and precision nutrition. We've got all these great things, and it's like those are two entirely different things.
Yep.
She was
good.
She's actually messaged me a lot.
Oh.
She is really working on my pool. My pool dilemma has her.
Oh, really? Has her attention?
Has her attention, which I appreciate because it is it's a bit of a challenge.
She is.
But the pool's a solution.
She's one tough person, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
I really admired
coach.
her. Yeah, she was
Great coach.
Yeah, she's a good coach. At first, I was put off. I was like, boy, man, she's kind of stern and a little not like user friendly, like a little rough around the edges. Which I was like, okay, and I was ready to get pushed back, but I never had any because she was always right. And and then when she went into coaching, she was really good at coaching. Like I could see her.
Heart.
Yeah, but
Tell she's got some time.
Yes, she's got some time in the
Lisa.
saddle.
Lisa doing that burpee.
That was amazing.
Oh yeah, so Lisa's like
I had
350,
to rush
pounds.
your restroom and grab a tissue.
Yeah,
I was like,
right, yeah.
holy
I had a
moly.
few of those moments in that seminar.
That was amazing.
So, I want to. The YMCA is our friend. They are not your competition. I would say that to affiliate owners, and I would say reach out to someone within their organization, at least have the conversation as you should be. And I'm starting to do more with affiliate owners too. Once a quarter, you should be, I think I want to encourage affiliate owners I want to challenge them to have conversation with other affiliate owners in your area once a quarter. If that's 4,
if you aren't already,
4 calls a month, do 4 calls a month.
I would love that.
And I would include the YMCA in it, in that circle of friends,
and use me or find one of the 18 Ys that has use me as a bridge and intro.
Hey, will you put up Mike's? Do you mind if we put your Instagram up?
No.
Oh yeah.
It's at the CEO.
That COO.
That COO. How'd you get that one, dude? That's a good one. I saw that.
It's
that COO.
Just COO.
I think when Instagram
that COO.
Okay.
When Instagram started, I think I had a staff member.
You're first in line.
Way back in Arizona when I was in Arizona.
And
I'll pull up the Instagram handle too.
Oh, that's cool.
Take a second.
And I reach out to Mike because I think there's more, and I would encourage, make yourself available to help the YMCA set up their CrossFit program. I would,
or even adopt some of the ethos. Like I don't like the fact that our members are coming to you or your members. I'm not after your members.
No.
Because we're trying to drive for the exact same things. I'm not after your staff, but man, I wouldn't mind sharing a few.
Yeah, and I've got staff like
as I said to you, I said that at the ranch. Like you have staff that need hours.
Yeah. So here's so CrossFit.
So think of what you would do.
Yeah.
You have, I don't want to call us a Globo gym, but a different setting, and think of an L1 in that type of setting. The difference it would make. It would just be. I think it would just be miraculous. These people that are used to walking around, not shy, able to see correct cue.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the one of the things that new affiliate owners struggle with is hiring coaches, and part of that reason is they can't offer full-time jobs. They can offer, class here, class there, and then they trade, or they do membership trades, those types of things. If you had someone like Mike, or that you could say, hey, look, you're going to work a couple hours here, and then you're going to, I'm going to hook you up and you're going to go coach for a few hours over at the local YMCA. That now you've got yourself a coach that has a job
that can work full time.
That can do it. And I do have coaches here that, that I'm going to let them know in my coaches meeting that you may have opportunities for them. Because I think that's a great thing.
Yeah. I think there's opportunities, but I think there's got to be, we have to take the time for understanding.
Yeah.
The why has to understand CrossFit
Right.
and the ethos that it brings to the table. And then the CrossFit has to understand, hey, this is the why. We have a rich fitness history.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's going to be passe. I'm probably one of the few people that know who Dr. Clayton Myers was. He wrote the first Why Fitness book. Dr. Larry Golding, so a lot of that history has faded. I think we started to look.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But it could be coming back too. People are, I think part of the reason why people are turning to CrossFit is just kind of, it's an old school gym. Yeah. There's no mirrors in here. They just want to come work out, be told how to work out and what to do.
That is remember when the pandemic first ended and people were coming back, there's just telling them what to do.
Yeah.
They don't want to walk into a gym and just kind of try and aimlessly make their way around a fitness night team.
They were dying for direction.
Yeah. We've seen it. You go to a fitness night team, Planet Fitness, or even a Gold's Gym, unfortunately.
Our CEO's vision is for us to become, it's going to take time, the most trusted source of health in a community. It's a powerful, in addition to our mission to advance health, he wants to be the most trusted source of health.
Really?
Yep. And it's so aspirational, it scares the living daylights out of me.
Sure.
What does that look like? We don't know yet, but we want to be the most trusted source of health because there's, as you know, that we are inundated with garbage daily, and you just walk through a grocery store, read a ketchup label.
And to find out that those labels, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
35%.
Yeah. They're allowed.
FDA allows a 35% wiggle room.
Error margin.
35% on nutrition labels?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you read on a label is up to 35% incorrect.
I got to have her back. I have like 40 people I have to send to this training.
Right.
So I at the Y.
In my email, I sent out a weekly email that goes out to 4,000 or 5,000 people. One of the things I included was the link to Athena's to the
video.
Fat famished 400 force fed in 450 pounds.
Yeah.
It's her documentary piece, the 9-minute documentary piece that Savon did back in 2018. And Julie Parks said she saw it. She goes, I was watching it there while I was in a meeting, and she goes, and I'm crying. It's two people have already told me they saw it and started crying.
Yeah,
because it's just, you get an incredible sense of what an amazing person she is and the struggle in her life that she's had to go through. Athena is amazing.
She is.
She's a rock star. She had such presence.
Yeah, didn't she?
And so brave.
Yeah,
so kind.
And by the way, how well did she move? She's an inner athlete. Like there's an inner athlete.
I was gonna say that getting up and off during the demo of the recumbent bike.
Yeah,
or not the Rogue Echo bike. I was like, there's an athlete.
There's an athlete in there.
Yeah,
you could tell. Like she moves.
Yeah.
She's
Andrew Hiller would not rep her on her squats.
No. Yeah, super good. So, and she's an L2 and you're trying to get her L3. But it just resonated with me. It gave that, I was hesitant on doing that seminar here and closing our gym for a day, and our members ended up having a great experience out at the track. But then a lot of people have come back to me and said that was, the content that I shared on it was, and our coaches were like blown away. Worth it. So I would encourage anybody, large body athlete seminar. She's going to do them around. She's going to Brazil next.
It sounded like that's maybe going to happen just there's some logistics
Oh,
as far
some
as like
stuff.
because they were going to do like 3 different affiliates down in Brazil.
Well, let me tell you what. So after this one, she's got podcast coverage from
Yeah.
Savon already. She got podcast
Mhm.
coverage from us, and then Savon's producing the documentary piece. I
Yeah.
have a feeling her business is she's
Blow
not gonna
up.
know what to do.
I think we talked Dave into doing one at the ranch. And we just
Oh, that's right.
Really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
thought
that'd
it'd
be
be kind of
great.
cool
Yes.
because he would be really into it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, he would. You know, he is an affiliate.
Yeah.
You know, in his heart, and I think that
He sure is.
Yeah.
I think doing something down there would just be amazing.
Yeah.
You go to where it started.
So, and you have 5 locations here. You have one in Pleasant Hill. Where are the other locations in Contra Costa
Richmond,
County?
right off Richmond Parkway,
Wow.
Albany, downtown Berkeley, and then Oakland.
Wow.
Yeah, we're the result of we acquired Pleasant Hill. It had gone bankrupt in 2010. We acquired it in 2010.
Okay.
And then in 2017, we merged. We were the Berkeley, Albany, Pleasant Hill, and then we merged with YMCA of the East Bay.
Okay.
And you guys operate as a nonprofit.
Yep.
And do you require? Do you where do you get membership income? But then do you have outside donations that come
So we
into
do
the YMCA?
donations. Yeah. I'll go pre-pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of it because we were 30,000 membership units in 5 centers
Is good.
It's
Okay.
really good.
That's awesome.
We were a $73 million organization going into the pandemic. About 47 million was from our youth and branch side, what you're familiar with. And the other revenue was from Head Start and early Head Start, federally state funded Head Start,
Okay.
providing just the most amazing care in the most vulnerable communities. We built a center in East Oakland. It was a chartered YMCA. We grabbed it during the merger. And Bill Russell actually grew up playing basketball in that YMCA. Can you believe it?
Wow.
And it is like we renovated it, gutted it, renovated it, and it's like an Apple store in the middle of probably the roughest part of Oakland on the planet, that we have all of these babies coming in every day, serving hundreds of families. So that work is our deep mission work under our youth umbrella. So we have that, and we've got the health side. A lot of teen initiatives. We have youth in government. We also have a camp in Loma Mar, 350 acre camp.
Oh, wow.
That's
Resident
cool,
camp.
dude.
Yeah. I'm actually, I'm on the board of Forging Youth Resilience. And it's an amazing Steve's Club. Remember Steve's?
Yeah.
So it's an amazing organization, and I'm trying to help them find a Y camp. They want to move up in Colorado to move their camp too.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so
really
we
cool.
were pretty big. We went into the pandemic. We had a lot of good resources. It just stung.
And how many people work within the YMCA organization, like full-time employees?
We
do you
had
guys-
prior to
for
the
your-
pandemic. Prior
yeah.
to the pandemic, we had 1,700.
Okay.
We laid off 1,100.
Wow.
April 2020.
Oh.
It was. You never want to do that again. But
Oh, no.
there again, our CEO, he's action oriented. And then when the benefits, the additional benefits were announced, and it was first come, first serve, he thought, he wanted our employees to be at the head of the line.
Yeah. So
So
lay
it
'em
was-
up. Yeah.
So
we went through that with ours. But I
so it was-
wasn't sure. I told him, I go, look, if you want
It
to,
was the worst decision, and it was
Yeah.
the best decision.
I asked him, I said, if you want me to fire you, let me know.
Yep.
So that they could get.
They were right in front. Our team was right in front, which was absolutely amazing. Yeah, but you never want to. I don't want to do it again. I don't want
No.
to close again. I don't want to.
No.
I think we're the solution to.
Well,
Yeah.
we
I-
are.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Oh,
the
yeah.
solution to
I think
to
that's-
the pandemic.
I think that's been proven
I'm
to be
hopeful,
the case.
although the amount of denials at the government level about everything that went on is unbelievable. I just watched another piece on the pandemic responses, in order, like if you go down the cleaning, washing your hands, cleaning and wiping down surfaces, to ventilation, to masking, to all of those things. Like there's just almost none of them work. Ventilation was one that was the highest.
Yep.
And then they looked at all the studies. This is a report that came out of UK, and they looked at about 400 different studies, and the bulk of the studies were based on modeling. And that's what's really unfortunate. Yeah, like math modeling.
Yeah,
not actual
practical.
Studies. It was literally, it was like less than 10%.
Remember that? Was it the Newcastle thing? The model, he's like 300,000% off in terms of deaths. I was but they kept quoting him.
Yeah.
You're missing something.
Yeah, you're missing something. But it affected James. But I'm hopeful that I think people do recognize, like, they know now that health and fitness and chronic disease was, that had probably the most impact, both positive from a fitness side, and then on the negative side, the chronic disease and lack of fitness and health affected. So I think it bodes well for gyms going forward. And if the government doesn't get the message, certainly the public gets the message. They know. Well, people know now.
Yep.
Right?
And look at what's popular now. We did a member survey back in May, but the result, it takes a while to compile the results. Number one activity: strength training.
Yes, that's
number
right.
one activity. Number one.
Yes.
URSA's report, same thing. Number one activity: strength training.
I'm so grateful for that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And all age groups.
Yeah.
All age groups, all genders.
Yep.
It didn't matter. It is strength training. So
yes.
there's an opportunity with bridging YMCA's and CrossFit. We're really good at fixed plane motion machines. We got a lot of them.
Yeah.
But imagine if they wanted to bring weightlifting in.
Yeah.
I bring a US.
Could build a whole progression.
I'd bring a USAW L1 or L2 into my Y in a heartbeat.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, help us out here.
You got a pretty good little progression there, kind of starting from some of those things to building out that.
Yeah.
Into
I was talking with, poor Philip Kelly, man. He's an enigma.
Yeah.
And great guy, but he's like, I said, I love your training videos. It's like, you're going old school. He goes, I need he's after hypertrophy.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta get weight back.
Yeah.
But some of those machines, if I could get some of those ladies out of the water
to the machine,
one of those machines, let's work on some hypertrophy. I'm not going to put you on a leg extension if you got bad knees. I'm not going to do any of that. But,
but you want to build bone density.
Yeah,
little bone density.
You got to get out of the pool.
Got to have more resistance than just the lack of gravity in the pool.
Our CEO's an old NSCA guy. Old pre bad lawsuit.
Yeah.
Like 90s
right.
and 80s when it was kind of cool. When they started in 78.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. And he's like, we call it the strong 8. Like if we had these 8 machines.
I know what you're talking about.
If we just had these 8 machines, little push pull.
It works.
Yeah. If we had these 8 machines, just get people started, have some posters up. And I'm like, we got to do that.
My brother and I wanted to start a gym back in the early 2000s with the stuff that we did in high school, which was the football coach in the weight room. And you go, it was circuit training. And then with a whistle. And you go, okay, 30 seconds on the bench press machine, on the universal machine, then 30 seconds on the pull down, then 30 seconds, and it was all the way around the rim, and they blow the whistle, but it worked.
Yeah,
it worked brilliantly.
Well, the only reason I couldn't teach group exercise, I cannot keep a 4-step count or anything. So it started in the 80s.
We teach a group exercise. Step exercise.
There was this thing, and they called it cross training at the time.
Yeah.
So I would just have people in stations.
Yeah.
If
it was the EMOM before it was an EMOM.
I really believe that there's been 2 amazing times to start a CrossFit gym, and one was back in like 2010 to 2014, and the next time is now. Is there's
a good point.
They're seeing a focus on strength training, and we have women coming in, and they're wanting to do CrossFit because there are very few places that teach strength training. And that's good. Man, I love hearing that about the Y too. It's awesome. I think the next 10 years, and I'm hopeful like you, I'm the optimist. I think it's going to be great. And I would encourage everybody to do it.
Yeah. I think we can influence it.
We can,
our CEO he's part of the California Y Alliance, which is a pretty powerful group, but we watch policy a lot. We were behind the Berkeley soda tax. I hope it was effective. It funded the tax funded a lot of really health oriented programming in the city of Berkeley, which is nice. But I think everybody just goes to Albany to buy their soda. So it was, when I did talk to Greg about when we saw him a few months ago, I said, you know what? Tell me about the warning label. And he said, oh, that warning label. So I wanted the warning label on sodas. He goes, and the more I pushed it, the madder the beverage association got.
Right.
He said, I don't know why. He said, but I think if a warning label hit,
It would affect all of it.
all the rules are off. All their
Yeah.
games they could play are gone.
yeah.
Okay.
It's like having a cigarette pack
Yeah.
and saying, hey, youth sports
Yes.
with a big warning label on it, you know?
Yeah.
Schools going to want to, you know, there's not much on LinkedIn. I got yelled at by a school district. That school district that got rid of the CrossFit rig.
School district.
Oh yeah. Remember I told you
So this teacher she's an L1 and she was doing
Oh,
CrossFit.
I know.
She
what
got
you're talking about.
she got approval
Who
for-
owns it?
no,
Yes.
she has, but she's a CrossFit affiliate in those high schools.
Yeah.
And and the school district shut her down. So
Yes.
I started finding pictures of all the soda signs and the scoreboards and this.
Yes.
Yeah, they got taken down. I don't know how they got it taken down, but I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to go.
It's okay.
Not going to battle with some little.
It's okay to have the soda machines in the
Yeah.
school.
soda machines. Yeah,
Yeah. In Gatorade.
they used to drive me.
Gatorade
soda
was-
machines, man.
Gatorade started as like a real, genuine, sodium
Sports drink.
sodium supplement sports drink, and
Yep.
then it just
Now look at the sugar. in
then
it.
Coca-Cola got a hold
yeah.
of it, bought it, and now it's ridiculous.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a real electrolyte drink.
Yeah,
You know?
it was.
Yeah.
I remember in high school.
remember
The only
that,
way
yeah.
it tasted good was if you were really, really hot
Yeah,
and
you didn't
tired,
wanna-
and it was really, really
You
cold.
didn't want to
Yeah.
drink it.
No.
Yeah, you didn't want to drink it. Then.
No.
No, that was
Yeah,
a
it was
go-to
like
after
taking
cutting weight.
Dimetap, It was like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it really, sugar makes everything
Yeah.
addictive.
It's easy to consume those drinks. I think the drinks are the biggest culprit in my opinion, just because it's so easy to consume those calories.
Yeah.
And that, that also are based on high fructose corn syrup, not necessarily actual sugar.
Right.
So we can get in. That's a whole nother. So
Oh,
we
I
can spend
know.
an hour on that one.
I think it was it Gary Roberts, the Killing the Fat Man that Saban, the documentary that Saban series that
Yes.
Saban was doing. I remember he was talking about the one thing that you can do to try to lose weight is just stop drinking calories.
Yeah.
And like that's
Number one.
yeah.
Well,
So easy to put him
Malone-
down.
Post Malone.
Yeah, he did talk about that too. Yeah.
That's all he did.
Yeah.
People thought he had cancer.
Yeah.
He's like,
just
he
doesn't-
lost 80 pounds. And
Yeah.
he said,
Just
yeah, man, I still, I love him.
Yeah.
My kids love him. My daughter has seen him and she lives in Utah where he does.
Right, yeah.
So she runs into him sometimes. So she, all he did was stop drinking soda. He lost 80 pounds. Still drinks, still smokes.
Yeah.
Lost 80 pounds.
just from soda.
Just from soda.
You all of these pumpkin drinks that are out
Oh,
right
yeah.
now in the
Oh, my
Starbucks.
God.
So I posted the one from Dunkin' Donuts. It was a pumpkin drink that they make, and the guy
How
many
many
grams?
grams
Yeah,
is full of
it was
sugar?
865 grams of sugar.
It's
Or
ridiculous.
865 calories, and it was like a half. He goes, that's
was-
it's the equivalent of like a half a cup of sugar.
Yeah.
And he goes, by the way, there's no pumpkin in this thing.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
zero.
Well, that's
actual
what's
all
pumpkin.
fake
that's
flavor.
what's hilarious.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
pumpkin.
Yeah.
There's no spice and there's no pumpkin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's the season. Gotta have it.
yeah.
But if you want,
Ooh,
like, if the
it's-
government wants to take action and enforce legislation, that's the kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
But see, that's where
that's
I
a great
think
starting
medical
point.
advisory. We had a medical advisory committee for years at the YMCA. That went away in the 90s,
Really.
and they would issue statements, YMCA statements on everything, the decibels of music in
Oh.
YMCA's, sauna temperature, hot tub temperature, our thoughts
We
on
position
supplementation.
yourselves as authority.
Yes. So we
I
had a medical.
like-
So
I like
when Amy,
that.
yeah. So I really wanted to talk to Amy, but there's an opportunity there,
yeah.
and there's opportunities
Yes.
to bridge.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I think hey, this is our statement on X, and we come as a movement together
Oh.
and say this is it, and then we work on alliance issues, or our CEO, he works on alliance issues usually around youth, family legislation, things like that.
Here's our
Every now and then there's a health one. Gary Lustig,
Mhm.
Yeah.
who Greg brought to prominence or
Mhm.
brought to CrossFit in like 2017.
Yep.
He's big. He's helped us on a few sugar things. So
Yeah, he did that documentary, The Bitter Truth, which if you haven't seen it, Google it. The Bitter Truth, Sugar, The Bitter Truth. It's That's when startling.
Yeah.
You will freak out for your kids. If you've got kids and you watch that, you'd be like, oh, good Lord.
The processed food
Yeah.
disease.
Yeah.
I mean, look at who we've brought to the forefront. Tim Noakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, people like that. There's I don't know if the statistic is real, but there's a diabetic amputation every 30 seconds in the United States.
I
I
don't doubt
believe
it. By the way, going back to the bariatric surgery, that
Mhm.
was the interesting thing. After 10 years, there's only a 20% success rate.
Yeah.
20%.
20%.
After going through all that.
Yep.
Yes.
Where they literally.
Because it
Where
doesn't.
they
It
keep
doesn't.
where they
affect-
keep
It
the weight
doesn't.
off.
It doesn't address those underlying root causes that we talked about
Oh, in the tree.
in the tree.
80%.
I mean, it's
80%
the whole concept of
failure
the
rate.
tree was like you have all these roots, right? And unless you like, you can cut all the food in, food out, you know, to lose the weight, but unless you address those root issues, the tree is just going to grow back. The weight just comes right back.
The weight comes back. That's born. What was it? The Biggest Loser.
Yeah. That was one of the
That was
examples.
Biggest Losers.
Yeah.
That was the first one she gave, and it was
Because they take away all the environmental,
Yeah.
stimulations
the-
and
literally
That family.
The family
aspect.
stuff.
a 100% failure rate on Biggest Loser.
Really?
Comes back.
Yep.
Weight comes back 100%.
was it? I thought it was like 95.
Well, I'm sorry, 95%. 95%.
But still, like
So, how many people did they put through? A couple hundred people, right?
Well, it's such a shocking. It was so shocking. Though.
That was within, by the way, 95%. That was within like 2 years.
yeah.
It was a very short period of time.
It's so shock. That was a shock
Yeah.
versus,
That's right.
hey, come into this environment
You're right.
where healthy habits here are the norm.
Mm-hmm.
Healthy behaviors here are the norm, and you're in a supportive environment. You know,
Right.
that I prefer with that long distant horizon.
Yeah.
I prefer that than the, you know, hey, I'm going to lock you. I'm going to go to a Canyon Ranch in Arizona fat camp and
Right.
Yeah.
and kill myself for 2 weeks, but
No.
then I'm back in my environment.
And then you're also messing yourself up more so internally with your hormones and everything else.
No, that's and that's why, coming back to what I said earlier, it's you got to get them coming back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Here in the community, here at CrossFit, here at YMCA.
Yeah.
You need to get them within that community, because once they're there, then now they're surrounded by people that are like-minded, and then they want to do more. And then they may be like, okay, hey, you know, I've got a whole house water filter system because I want to take out I'm going to do that. Right. And that's where you get all the community supporting you and helping you.
And we've all started somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we've got to realize.
We all have a backstory.
We've all started somewhere.
Yep.
And we all have, you know, I have body dysmorphia, you know, so everybody's got something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did.
And but I think coming into these environments, can we make them safe? Are our staff making them safe and welcoming? Are our members?
Yeah.
And I think I've only seen it in CrossFit. I've been in the grungy gyms. I've worked out in some of the roughest gyms on the planet. You know, where you see all the Louis Simmons guys, you know, those types of people. But even them, they're welcoming to a certain degree. And, you know, you put the work in.
Yeah,
respect comes.
The respect
Absolutely.
comes. I'm gonna high five you.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, I literally had tears running down watching Lisa do that burpee. I was like, that's
we all wanted to run over there and hug her and high five her.
Right.
I know.
We all did.
Yeah.
Someone said, hey, that's the jersey you put on the wall right there.
Right.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was pretty, and that was brave.
Yeah,
to
super
do
brave.
that
Sure.
in front of,
For
Oh,
sure.
boy.
you know, a goofball like me standing in the back, and I was like, "That's
Cameras on you, like
cameras on you." Yep, that was brave, and I admire that.
Mm-hmm.
I admire that, but I see it a lot in the Y. I see these people come in. I'm like, keep coming. I just talk to them. I'm like, keep coming. Don't stop. And if you feel like stop and talk to me, let's work something out.
Yeah.
You know, I've tried the approach thing that, you know, Coach Glassman talks about all the time.
Oh, you approach somebody and give them some.
Yeah, and I've run into what he's run into. AM, PM, get gas, and I buy bad coffee because I refuse to pay $4 for black coffee. And I'm paying, and this guy, you could see on the socks, or like a tourniquet on his legs.
Oh,
And he had one of those 64-ounce
big gulps.
Yeah. And it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. And so it's somebody's at the register, and it's him and I. And I said, hey man, you know, my name's Mike. I'm from the Y. I said, you Pleasant Hill. Why don't you come over? He's like, why? I said, well, I think I could help you. And like Greg said, he knows why you're saying you can help him.
Yeah.
And he said, well, what can you do? And I said, well, you're probably right on the verge of diabetes. I said, get you on a fitness program, kind of avoid that. He goes, I already have it.
Already has diabetes.
And he just turned around and was like,
right. And
I can get you to stop.
You know what's interesting about that?
We can
Yeah,
help
I can
reverse
reverse
it.
You know what's interesting about
Possible.
that? You know what's interesting about that? And I guarantee 100% he doesn't think it's reversible.
Right.
Yeah.
He thinks it's like, oh, I got it, like I got cancer and it's incurable.
This is now my life.
Yeah. And that's tragic.
Yep.
It is.
But he had the soda. It's
Yeah.
like, you're not like just that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So I want, so we get them in, and then we have to create these environments where it's results biased.
Yep.
Yep. With small wins every day.
Yeah. Small wins every day.
Yep.
Scaling forward.
Set them up with PRs to scale forward. Yep.
Scale forward. Yeah.
PRs.
Good.
The other statement too, it's so funny. I told Kim, she said, RX isn't a destination.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That was
that's
so,
great.
it's a stimulus.
Yeah.
It's a desired stimulus. And I was like, yep.
Everybody's
and of course for me,
prescription's
RX is a departure point. Like,
Yeah.
it's way in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, listen, we've gone an hour and 30. We were for our 7-minute podcast we were going to do.
I can't thank you enough, both of
Yeah.
you. Craig, I'm honored. Honored. You are what you've done in the CrossFit movement. It's you're one of the real OGs of this movement, and you stuck with it. I was rooting for you during the pandemic, and I'm glad you came out on the other side. And I'm really honored to meet you.
Oh, man, that's well, I mean, it's shared, and thank you, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. I love hearing about your mission and direction. It makes me feel good about the YMCA because I, as a kid, spent a lot of time there, so I'm excited. And we could be seeing the return to the YMCA's of yesteryear. That would be awesome.
That would be
I mean,
great.
granted, the family fitness or the fitness, what is that place called?
Lifetime.
Lifetime Fitness. Those
Yes.
are those are great, but they're not the YMCA.
Right.
And you're gonna, I think if you had a choice and you could go, you're gonna you're gonna get more out of a YMCA in that environment there than you will out of the other.
Yeah.
And so I sincerely appreciate you in 30 years in the same spot. That's
Well, I bounced around.
But yeah.
Tucson, San Francisco, Phoenix,
Yeah.
and now Bay Area.
But the same
East Bay.
mission the whole time. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
They like I said, I have great bosses that really
Yeah.
took chances on me. I'm probably not the easiest.
we saw the picture.
Right.
You were that guy. But thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
Great podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Till next time.
Yep.